My name is Sydney Olson, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the effects that social media has on society during a pandemic. So, technology is awesome, it keeps the world connected and well informed. But what about fake news? So, there's a lot of people out there who are elderly, expecting mothers, young children, sick people who are really vulnerable to become panicked during a time like this. And it's really scary to have fake news out to everybody who doesn't really know what's real and what's fake. So my father is a firefighter for the city, and I see firsthand, what's being told to the fire department compared to what's being told on the news. So if you pay attention to who, what, and where you get your information, you'll have a better understanding about how to better care for your loved ones. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about how it's important to remain well informed, but also not to believe everything you see on the internet. Um, I'm going to talk to you guys about knowing where and where not to get your information, and hopefully provide you guys some good tips on how not to panic. So, during a pandemic, it is so easy to get frightened by everything you see on the internet. When you're scrolling through any social media site, you have to keep in mind that not everything you see is real. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of sites don't check what is being posted, and a lot of rumors can get posted. And this kind of needs to change. There's no doubt that this needs to change. When you have millions of people who are on social media every single day, it's scary to know that there's people out there willing to trick people. But not only do we see fake articles, but we also see news stations dramatizing things for views. And this can lead to everybody panicking, which is really bad. So, in an article by local news station KVIA, the disclosure came from City Manager Tommy Gonzalez in response to a question about testing of first responders during a virtual meeting of City Council, Parker 2020. So, what they're saying in this article is about an El Paso firefighter who had got tested for coronavirus and tested positive. But what they don't talk about is how he was traveling when he had contracted the virus. And they don't really talk about that all over the news that he was traveling. They just talk about how he had the coronavirus and how all firefighters are vulnerable now. And that can lead to a lot of people, I mean, especially me with my father being a first responder, it leads to panic. But knowing where to go and where not to go to get your information is really important before acting rashly. I mean, it would be nice if the internet would just label things as real and fake, but unfortunately, we have to decide for ourselves. Um, a reliable place to always get your news sources is hands down the news. Um, as an El Paso resident, I do rely on world news, but I also rely on local news. Um, and a good example about fake news is The Onion. So I have a picture of The Onion here, and this is kind of like the things that they post on their website. And it's like Donald Trump wearing a hat, and on the back here we have a man with a gun saying that that's the cure to the coronavirus, and it's just things like that. You could tell it's fake, but a lot of people can't, and that's what's scary. And in an article written by UN News, they were talking about, they state, because of the scale of the problem, the World Health Organization is leading, which is leading the UN's response to the pandemic, has added a Mythbusters section to its online coronavirus advice pages, UN News 2020. So people know about this fake news, and people are trying to stop this fake news from being spread. And then when you get onto social media sites, such as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all of that doesn't get checked. So, in an article by Mark Scott, he talks about fake news that has been spread on Twitter. He states, in total, Avaz says these fake social media posts, everything from advice about bogus medical remedies for the virus to claims that minority groups were less susceptible to infection, has been shared collectively 1.7 million times on Facebook in 6 languages. Scott 2020. That is so scary. I know I stuttered a lot, but what he's saying is that this fake news is being spread all over the internet that he knows is fake. And in another article by Melissa DeWitt, she states it's important to check health-related information from established news sources rather than from shared stories in social media. DeWitt 2020. So, 2 examples. One that is, his experience, Scott's experience with seeing it firsthand being shared. And I mean, DeWitt's great tips of just don't believe everything you see on social media. Go to the news sources, basically. So now that we've discussed the issue here, I want to go ahead and talk about what I think you guys could do to help reduce panic, because it's so easy to panic during these times of these scary times. So when you see on the internet something that is absolutely terrifying, just try not to panic. Panic can lead you to do things that are unnecessary and can be more harmful than good. Like panic buying, hoarding, which can leave others with nothing. And in an article written by the Dallas Morning News editorial, they say that psychologists suggest that stockpiling gives people a sense of control when they otherwise feel powerless. Dallas Morning News editorial 2020. So a lot of it is psychological, which is not what you want to hear, but it is. And you have control over whether you're going to panic and buy everything in the store or not. So, during these uneasy times, it is really important that we all stick together. So, don't go out posting fake news. And before doing anything rash, just check your sources. So, of course, it's always important to stay well informed during a scary time, but more important, remember that not everything you see on the internet is true. Always make sure to know where you're getting your sources from. Make sure it's somewhere you can rely on, such as news. And remember to try not to panic when you see something on the internet that is scary. Think about your decisions because it can do more harm than good. Um, like I said, we all need to stick together. Panicking about fake news can lead to us turning against each other. This will all be over soon, and when it is all over, you will be thankful for the reliable sources that you had. Well, thank you for sticking around and listening to my speech. See you guys later.